Hi, Jack. Honest Discussioner here. Well, you know who I am, just doing the intro. But I saw your atheist reviews, and after watching both of Lacey's and also Don Exodus's review that you did, I feel that I should be doing a review of your reviews, or at least the ones I think warrant them. And if the first two are any indication, there's going to be a couple. Jack, I've told you this before. I think you are a shield. Veritas was a sword. He was at home when he was attacking atheists, when he was on the offensive. You, I think, are much better when you are defending Christians, when you're talking to Christians and trying to bolster them up. I think you're good at that. I actually enjoy watching those videos of yours, Jack, but I really feel that when you try to attack atheists, and that is what you're doing with these reviews, Jack, at least that's what it seems like, that's how it's coming off to me, you fall flat. I like the video with your ontological argument and all of those. When you attack atheists, I feel you fall flat, and I think it's because you don't understand us. You understand Christians. You understand Christians very well. I don't think you understand atheists, and I think you feel you do. I think you are possibly trying to understand us better, but I think you already feel you've got a good grasp of what we're about, and it appears to me as though you really don't. So let's get on with the actual review. First, Jack, you discuss this idea of purpose in all of these atheist testimonies, because that's what the testimonies were basically about. What does atheism offer? I'd like to point out, Jack, that for pretty much all of them, there might be a couple exceptions, but what atheism offered was never an actual thing. What it was taking away whatever burdens their religion had. So atheism doesn't offer anything universal. Christianity has to offer something universal. It's a covenant with humanity that God made, if I understand things correctly, right, Jack? But atheism is not a universal thing. It's different for each person because all it is just removing, in most cases, whatever religion they had. For example, someone gets their Sundays back, or someone is no longer prohibited from having sexual relations outside of wedlock. It's a removal of the burdens of religion, Jack, and I think that's what you're saying. What you're missing. You make the analogy with non-stamp collecting. The only thing that non-stamp collecting gives you is whatever stamp collecting takes away. So that's the difference that I don't think you're getting here. Now here's the first part that you did, that you mentioned about Don Exodus.
Lastly, I'm being honest with myself, and that takes a bit of a load off. If you believe something out of fear, or simply because you want it to be true, that's not true belief. And I simply couldn't continue saying that I believe these things when they just didn't make any sense.
You mentioned true belief, and I hope you don't mind if I reword this portion a bit. Tell me if it's conveying the idea you intended. What you seem to be saying is, simply because you believe in God, which may be motivated by fear or a desire for God to be real, doesn't make your belief true. I completely agree. And I'm wondering if you would agree with me that simply because a person finds they are now living what they call a consistent and honest life, doesn't mean that whatever beliefs they have, which may have helped them to get to that place, are actually true either.
I'm guessing you've been told this already, so I might just be reiterating, but you really did misunderstand Don Exodus too. As far as I'm aware, he wasn't saying that the belief isn't true if it's based off of fear or wanting it to happen. He was saying it wasn't a belief. It wasn't truly a belief. It's believing via Pascal's wager. I'm just kind of putting my bets on this because it's not actually a belief. It's trying to do it as either a safe bet or out of emotion. It's not something you actually believe, as far as Don Exodus is concerned. So that's what he was saying. Not that I'm sure he'd agree with all the points that you made, because they really don't address what he was talking about.
It's that I now live a consistent and honest life. I can now say that I apply the same burden of proof, the same weight of evidence evenly throughout every aspect of my life. That is to say, I no longer lower my burden of proof just in the case of magic.
You appear to have some assumption regarding the way in which evidence and proof should be used in our lives, and place a value judgment on this process that you associate with these words consistent and honest. We all, of course, begin with some assumption at some point. However, do you believe that you apply the same burden of proof or weight of evidence to this assumption? I don't see how you could, and in this way, the assertion in your video doesn't seem to be consistent. I'm not entirely clear what your previous beliefs were as a Christian, but I'm curious to know if you think that there are Christians who, although they don't have the answers to all the questions, they nevertheless would consider that their beliefs do make sense within their given framework, and they are living a consistent and honest life.
If you are going to believe in two things that are contradictory, as far as Don Exus was concerned, his Christian beliefs and his understanding of science contradicted. If you're going to be going on a more consistent basis, I'd argue that you're going to be more likely to be correct. And it was the contradictory beliefs that I think Don was alluding to. He was probably suffering from what's known as cognitive dissonance, Jack. It's when you hold to contradictory beliefs, and it can be a bit upsetting to your psyche, especially when you start actually thinking about the fact that you hold a belief that this is what proof is, but then for something else, well, no, this is what proof is, as in Don's example of magic. The problem is, Jack, that you seem to have a problem with Don applying the same standards to science that he would apply to religion, or actually vice versa, same standards to religion that he would apply to science. I would like to know why that is. Maybe I'll grant you that we don't have to apply the same standards to everything, but why is that a problem for you? Unless, of course, you feel the only way that you can believe in religion is if it has a lower burden of proof than science. Correct me if I'm wrong, Jack. That's what it seems like to me. Now, you're reviewing Atheist Review, so I have one request for you. I would like you to also include my atheist testimony as well, Jack. I'm going to be doing my entire losing my religion thing on a radio show called The God Discussion tomorrow night, but link in the underbar, or I'll probably post a video about it. But I'll give you a little preview right now, Jack. What did atheism offer me, or at least what did it take away? What it took away from me, Jack, is that before, when I was a Christian and I was trying to read the Bible and talking to pastors and rabbis and everyone I could to try to gain understanding and couldn't, what it took away from me was not having to wake up in the middle of the night every time a truck drove by, thinking it was the apocalypse and that Jesus was coming back to claim my soul and send me to hell. Because, again, despite everything that I did to try to understand Christianity, I couldn't, and I thought I was doing something wrong. I would wake up on a frequent basis thinking that reality was falling apart because Jesus was returning and that my time had come. Of course, I probably was just... Obviously, he hasn't come back, so I obviously was mistaken about that, and it probably was just me waking up in the middle of the night and feeling a bit disoriented. But that's lasted for years, Jack. And it sucked. And I don't do that anymore. So that's my atheist testimony, or at least part of it. You can check out the rest later if you'd like. But I'm eager to hear back on you and what you think about my questions, and hope you understand where I'm coming from in this video and the rest of the reviews that I plan on doing for you. Have a nice day. This Discussioner out.